The Mirror of Race project is something that Greg and I started many, many years ago. It's using the earliest photographs called Daguerreotypes to talk about race in America.
It is a multidisciplinary, multimedia, coordinated undertaking by many people to explore the meaning of race in American history and what that meaning means for us now in the present and into the future.
What I'm intrigued by in the project is when we look at these images, a lot of them are unique, one-of-a-kind image. We create a story. Just like when we see somebody walking down the street, we create a story about them. Then the question is, what is that story? Where does that story come from?
Most exhibitions will immediately tell you what you're seeing. There'll be a work of art on the wall, and there'll be a caption next to it, and that's exactly what we did not want to do, at least for some portion of this exhibition, because we want people to get comfortable with their uncomfortableness in not knowing what they're seeing.
I think that what's most striking about the exhibition is the variety of images. You have anywhere from the enslaved Africans to Native Americans to the Irish boron and fiddle player to people in blackface, that it really covers the gamut of what was going on historically at the time. In some cases, some of the images show what an enlarged daguerreotype would look like, because the daguerreotypes are like this size is fairly small.
It is an opportunity to explore both the objects, but also themselves, and reflecting about what they think they're seeing, what they discover after they do find out more information about the images and other artifacts that we present here. Is that moment of confrontation with their own expectations of what it is and what it in fact is, that hopefully gets them to engage further in a dialogue.
I think the impact I would like is that we move this from just an exhibit to our daily lives. One of the things that I think we all have in common is we tend to have prejudgments about people. Right? You see somebody walking down the street, you see somebody in the shopping mall, but we don't know what their story is, and so we create stories about them. And the question is, do we care enough to actually find out what the story is of someone? We live in a culture right now where the image is the most important thing. How we see ourselves is crucial. How we project ourselves to other people is crucial. Everybody has a cell phone, has the ability to take a photograph. The image is really important. These are just different images, but they're still images.
I work in philosophy, and philosophy has both the privilege and the risk of floating off into abstraction. What I truly love about working on the Mirror of Race project is that it forces me out of abstraction and into the concreteness of the history of my own country, the issues that affect me and my fellow citizens to this day.
I grew up in the Bahamas. I grew up in a family where I was told that I was white, and I was told that I was descended from the native Bahamian Lucayan Indians. Eventually coming to America in 1974 and being perceived as black, I started to question, so what am I really? And I was perceived as many things, you know, as Latino, as African, as Moroccan. I started to think about this. What am I, and why am I being perceived by people in different ways? And I realized that whenever we look at somebody, we have a perception of who they are and where does that come from?
The metaphor of the mirror is crucial because the earliest photographs, daguerreotypes, are on a silver mirror surface. So that when you look at a daguerreotype, as I am now, you see not only the image of 160 years ago, you see yourself simultaneously mirrored back at yourself. So you change the register of what you're seeing in the same object. History and the present and the future are all elided in one moment of reflection.
When I look at these images, what is the story that comes up for me? And then how do we take the story that we create and turn it around to figure out what is the story that's happening with this person, and can that bring us to a closer human experience?
Part of Derek and my work has been for nearly 2 decades now to do what we're doing here at Xavier, which is to come and meet with communities interacting with some facet of the Mirror Erase project, whether it's just the digital online project or the film that Derek directed, to try to engage these kinds of conversations in whichever community that we bring them to. But the live exhibition, I think, has a particular kind of power just because the physicality is really important.